Railroad prototype modelers. These meets are held all across the country, California to Florida. And in Minnesota, we have our very own. It's called the Modelers Retreat, put on by the Twin Cities Division of the NMRA. And this is a car I'm going to try and build and represent and bring to this year's meet. Actually, two of them. Here we have all of the items ready to decal. We got the cars, microsol, microset, some distilled water, various tiny brushes, a little X-Acto knife and some scissors, and a colored index card, which I have found handy for putting white decals on. I'm using these Smokebox Graphics. They make wonderful decals with typical re-lettering. They come in stencil and other. I'm using a couple different packs. Here's one. That's the code number. You can look them up online. They make really, really nice decals for modern re-stenciled rolling stock. I like cutting out the decals ahead of time. Here's the lettering and numbers. Here I have them applied. And now we're going to cut out the really small ones to put for the end reporting marks. Get them white, and then I can see them on that pinkish card and transfer them to the tip. I hold my little card in this cup with some paper towels so I can get at the end of it easily. Here is the finished product. I have the lettering over the patch out on each end as per the prototype. And both cars are done. Take your time on this, line them up. It's a nice little detail. And I continue to use the microsol on them to keep them to lay flat before I put a varnish over everything. I thought I'd go over how I'm going to create these custom decals right from the cars. I'm using Affinity Photo on a MacBook, and I opened up the photo I have of one of these cars. And I get out the crop tool and I bring it in to the exact ends. This car is really nice because it's squared up. And so then I crop that. Now I want to go up to my document and change the document dimensions. And this is in pixels, so I'm going to change it to inches. I know my car is 7 inches long, so I'll change the long side to 7.0 and hit resize. And it doesn't look any different on the screen, but now the car is the exact size as the model. And now if I wanted to print it out and check it, I'll just do black and white. And I can print that out and put my model on it to see if I've got the right size. And I've done this, and I'll show you a little later in this video. It's really quite a neat thing where you can size up your decals. Need to do one more thing before we get started, and that is create a blank sheet to put the decals on. So we go to New, we go to Print, 8.5 by 11, Create. That'll give me a nice blank sheet which to cut, copy, and paste these tags and graffiti onto and go get them printed. And so now that we have that, we have it sized out, we're going to use my favorite tool, the Selection Brush tool. And this just highlights an area of the photo, and you can go around and get the exact edges. And I'll show you how I do this. I'll speed it up because it takes a little while and get the detail on it. So here I'm going to go over Mr. H-Back's tag here, and I'm going to start selecting it. I'll move the photo so I can see better, get the right pixels, and I just want to highlight it. And you'll see the marching ants, I call them, will be around the edge. And you want to get as much of this as you can, so you'll have the entire thing to create your custom decal from the tagger's own artwork. All right, we have everything selected that we want. Now we have to cut it out, literally. So we go up to edit, and we're going to go down to cut, and it's going to, there you go, it's all gone. Big hole in our boxcar. So we can then move to the blank sheet and go to edit and paste Mr. H-Back's tag right on there. And it'll be exactly the size we need, exactly all we want to put on a car. I'll enlarge it. And this is where we can make copies and duplicates, which I will do because I can always use these on other cars. So here we go. To get your picture back, you can just undo the cut, Command Z on a Mac, Command Z, Command D, deselect the marching ants, and start to work on the next tag on the other side of the boxcar. And here we go. We'll speed this up, put a little music in there for you, and we'll get Mr. Payer, I think that looks like. It's a neat little tag, goes over the door. It'll be interesting to see if I can decal that over the door. But you can select and deselect this tool if you go too far or too little. Zoom in, get all the part of the tag that you want, because you really want a nice looking piece of graffiti for a realistic model. And we finished with the other tag, so we'll do our usual cut. There's our hole in the boxcar, and go over to the other sheet. And here you can see I've already copied and pasted a couple more H-back tags, and I've lightened a few little pre-fading for some other cars. And there's our payer tag right there. Now, if you want to see if these are the correct size, you can go up and print this sheet. Just print it out on your regular printer, print it in black and white, and then when the paper comes out, hold it up to your model, and you'll see that it's the exact same size. As long as you scaled your boxcar or whatever car you're doing to the length, these will come out really nice, and you can duplicate almost any tag that you see on freight trains going today. And we'll bring up this next car, and also the crop tool in Affinity is very nice because it has a straightener. Just draw a straight line, boom, now your boxcar is square. And you can go back to highlighting the graffiti. Here I am sizing it up now. We'll do that. Change the dimensions to the 7 inches and start selection tool and cutting and pasting. It's really quite simple, and you could fill up a sheet of decals in an evening with some wonderful graffiti on there. One more tip. So this car has the lube plate painted over the graffiti, and I would normally leave that in, but like I said, the ribs are wrong, so it's not going to fit. I'll put the tag on, and then I'll patch out that and put a new lube plate decal on there. So I'm going to go over to my tools and grab my clone tool. And I'm going to select a portion of this tag and then cover up the lube plate on there. And as you can see, because the tag is kind of a mishmash, that you're not going to really notice it, that portion's gone. And that might be the portion that I patch out. And then once I've done this, I can go back to my selection tool and pull out that wonderful artwork or vandalism and put that on my models. Here is my completed sheet. I've spaced them around to fill up the page. I've got about 4 of each for future use. And now I need to save it so I can take it to the print shop And this means I just have to go to export it and export it as a JPEG, highest quality, give it a name so I can find it easily when I get to the FedEx printers. And that's all I need to do for that till I take my computer to the print shop and have them do this work for me. Here I'll demonstrate the printout. So there's a black and white print, a couple of them, the cars. You can see they're the exact same size. And then here's the decal. You can see is the exact same size. So I have proof that at least it'll fit correctly on the cars. This is the decal paper I use. Expert's Choice. It's made by the same people who make BareMetal foils. And white decal sheets for graffiti. They have clear. And you want to get the laser. They have laser and inkjet. I've always preferred the laser, especially on the high-end copiers that a print shop will have. So get some of this. And we're back from the printers. Our decals look great, but I do one more step with this. I get Microscale's liquid decal film. This is kind of a clear, thick liquid that you put over old decals. It'll save them or protect them. So get a flat brush and make sure it's clean. These should be new, no weathering on there or anything. But you want a nice flat because you're going to spread the liquid out in a thin coat and it dries on top. And I'm just going to pour this over it and I'll show you how that works right now. So we'll pour some of this on the paper and get our little brush out and start coating it. Make sure you coat at least over where it's printed. And then I use like a snow plow or snow shoveling effect, and I'll go side to side and clear off as much excess as I can. It is self-leveling, but if you can help it out and dry quicker with a nice thin coat, that would be great. There we go. That's all the time it takes, and that's all the time we have for this episode. We'll let it dry overnight. I'll clean my brush, and we'll come back for the next episode in this series. Thank you. Thank you for watching. If you like this, please subscribe. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. The Split Rock Mining Company appreciates it. If you listen to podcasts, check out The Crossing Gate, a podcast devoted to the topic of model rareting, where the crew discusses a different issue that you've probably come up with in the building of your layout or the making of your models. Give it a listen on all of these download places.